Alright gang, let's talk about the Allen&Heath SQ-series of mixer consoles today. I want to start with, I hate it, and I really hate it, and please avoid buying this mixer of Satan. This mixer is crap, and is bested in crapness only by the SI series from Soundcraft. So let's get started. The console has an amazing automatic mic mixer, and I mean, wow, 48 channels of auto mix that can be split into 2 auto mix groups. This is perfect for a large panel discussion or even a high school play. Good job, Audiotonics, except for one major flaw. I can't pre-fade listen or solo a channel that has the auto mixer enabled. Even the input meter stops working. How am I supposed to quickly PFL talent that's about to go on stage? I simply cannot without disabling the auto mixer. Now let's talk about saving a scene. Allen&Heath's consoles typically save the console configuration to a show file, and inside this show file will contain your scenes. And this is fine if it's understood by everyone who operates it, but even I have found myself multiple times going to recall a scene and discovering that some channels just didn't recall at all. And no, this isn't a scene safe setting. The Allen&Heath SQ-series can have stereo and mono channels, and it's pretty simple to combine 2 adjacent mono channels together to make a stereo channel within the setup page. The problem is that the mono or stereo channel configuration is not stored in the scene, it's stored in the show, and if you don't have a USB flash drive permanently living in the USB slot, you cannot save or recall a show, period. So, as an example, say I'm mid-show and I'm multi-track recording to my laptop and I want to save my show file or my scene file to my USB memory stick that I just found. Well, I should not do that, because performing any save or load operation to a USB memory stick will mute all USB audio going to the laptop. Now, yes, it does warn you about this in very clear text, but now I'm stuck in a situation where I can't fully recall my scene that is missing channels because I can't use my USB memory stick because it's mid-performance. So I guess I'll just try to remember the mixer settings from my brain. Also, why is it that I can combine mono input channels together to make stereo channels, which lowers the channel count, but when I convert the output buses from stereo to mono, I don't get any more buses? I only get 3 matrices, regardless if they are stereo or mono. I don't get any more. Anyways, here is something I do like about the SQ-series. It has a great Dante expansion card. It can do 64 channels in, 64 channels out, and has built-in sample rate conversion so it can operate at 96K or 48K to interface with existing Dante audio gear. Great, except for one tiny oversight if you aren't careful. The console's audio clocking settings can be set in a way where it seems to be fine, but actually it's not, and the audio will have unwanted clicks and pops. If the audio clock source is set to internal, then you must make the Dante expansion card the master clock of your entire Dante audio network, and ensure the Enable Sync to External option is ticked in Dante Controller. If the console is part of a larger Dante network, then you'll probably want to set the audio clock source to I/O card, and honestly, setting the clock source to I/O card is the safe bet in most cases. While on the topic of expansion cards, I want to mention that using the S-Link port between 2 SQ-series consoles can carry a pretty large channel count of 128 in by 128 out at 96K, and that's pretty neat. Now, let's look at the scribble strips. And scribble is the correct term here. There's hardly a point to even labeling a channel because 6 characters of text is just not enough to make it easily identifiable. I need at least 8 characters to make something usable for another engineer without rolling some board tape and a Sharpie. I feel like if Audiotonics could give us a scribble strip with less characters, they would just out of spite. Moving on to channel processing. I've noticed that If the input signal drops below a certain threshold, the RTA or spectrum analyzer overlay on the EQ page will just completely stop. It's a little scary to watch because I think my mic or input has just died, while in fact it hasn't. It's kind of weird. I like to use the RTA or spectrum analyzer to catch feedback on a lav mic or a podium mic, and then use a graphic EQ to bring down those ringing frequencies. And it's a great tool to have, but why is the graphic EQ only available on buses, groups, matrices, or the main mix? Sometimes I just want to ring out a podium mic, and I don't want to just EQ the whole master mix, which will ruin any music playbacks or the live band. My current workaround is to mix with groups. So I make a group called Talking, and I'll use the graphic EQ on the group, which works well, although the extra routing required to use groups can overcomplicate things for volunteers. It's an okay compromise for me, but sometimes I wish I could just insert a graphic EQ directly on a channel like the Behringer X32 or Yamaha QL or CL5. I'm happy to have a decent graphic equalizer available, and it's far from the excuse of a graphic EQ implemented in the Yamaha TF-series, but that's for another video. Anyways, even the routing and patching on this mixer has got some flaws. I'm happy it's at least a grid with flexible one-to-one patching, but finding existing routing or patching is almost impossible. Let's watch how long it takes to find what is patched to Dante output 45. 45. It's almost Dante output 45. It's clearly there. No, it's not mixed out. No, it's graphics. No, that's my graphic. No. Is that outline? No. S-Link. I just counted. I don't think so. Okay, USB. No, I don't. Where's my calculator itself? Oh, hey, there it is. Oh, geez, that one took way too long. To me, the user interface is clunky and everything takes twice as long to set up than it should. The console is great if you charge by the hour, because you will be wasting hours setting up your scene. And that's just my opinion, and I am completely biased.